Our next seminar is Convert Searches to Sales, Your Path from SEO to Cash, with Jason Hennessey and Chris Watson. Jason Hennessey is an internationally known search engine optimization, SEO, expert. In fact, Google now ranks him #2 when you search for SEO expert. He is consumed with dissecting, testing, and reverse engineering the Google algorithm. Jason spent 15 years as a professional disc jockey. Chris Watson has over 20 years marketing experience. And he has partnered in 2009 to create a full-service SEO agency, EverSpark Interactive, which grew into a $1 million company in just 3 months. That's impressive. In April 2010, Chris returned to the print publishing industry as co-founder of Wedlock Magazine. Please welcome Jason Hennessey and Chris Watson.
Thank you, Will. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing out there?
Okay. A lot of people. We're thrilled to be here. Will, thank you so much for inviting us here to talk to everybody. We are here to teach you about Google, a little topic that everyone might want to know a thing or two about. And we're going to try to make it so that it's not techie, even though Jason is an expert at reverse engineering the algorithm. Don't worry about it too much. We spent a very long time in this industry. A little bit of background about myself. I worked with a company called StomperNet for about 3 years. And those of you not familiar with StomperNet, Stomper is the world's leading authority on search engine optimization. A lot of modern day SEO, and it's referred to as SEO, happened and was created at StomperNet. So I was there for 3 years, and I learned just amazing things from amazing people. And I decided to partner up with Jason because Jason was doing some of the best SEO in the world not that long ago, about a year ago, when we partnered up. And we put together Wedlock Magazine. That started about 6 months ago. And its cause is to teach marketing, not just SEO, but all kinds of marketing. We tend to lean towards the SEO because that's what we do. And is available on a monthly basis. We'll talk to you about all that in a second. But we're thrilled to be here. We're going to try to make it simple and effective, and so you can walk away. Next time you're in the room and someone asks you about how Google works, you're going to be the one person in the room who knows how it works. More importantly, we're going to show you how to get your website to the top for virtually any keyword. You guys into that? Cool.
Before I get into the introduction about myself and my background, we just have a quick little video to kind of show you what bridal traffic is and basically how it works.
Hi, I'm Chris Watson.
And I'm Jason Hennessey.
And we're from Wedlock Magazine.
A common misconception or a distinction that many people miss when it comes to building links into a site and overall SEO is that it's really important and advantageous to your site for the site's ranking if those links actually have the keywords in the links coming back into your site.
And granted, we're going to be like Simon Cowell from American Idol. We're going to say what we really think and not necessarily kind of hold back, and it's just for your own good.
All right, so that is just a quick example of just a clip of a thing called bridal traffic, which Chris and I put together in about 4 months. We locked ourselves in a basement and put together basically how to get to the top of Google. A quick little background, does anybody know what SEO stands for out there? Just raise your hands if you know what SEO stands for. How many people have paid for SEO and have gotten basically burned from paying for SEO? How many people have paid for SEO and are extremely happy with their site and their rankings right now? Okay, good, good, good. So what we're going to talk about today is typically it's a fictional story, a fictional website that basically if you follow the process, and we're going to try to keep it within the 45 minutes that we have, But if you follow the actual process that we put together, you will be able to get your site to the first page of Google, if not the first 3 positions for your keyword. One of the things that I like to start out with before I actually introduce myself and kind of show you a little bit about my background. I know he mentioned that I was an SEO expert, but it's funny because I actually started right here in Las Vegas as a wedding DJ. So I was sitting in the audience just like you guys out there, and my story, I actually got burned from SEO, and this was back when Overture was around, before Google went public. And I actually sat out there and I was just getting burned, spending $2,000 a month and not getting any results at all, and just sitting on the back of page 56 for Google. So there's a lot of people in this room that are probably buried on the back pages of Google, and if you're not on the first page, you're really not going to get a lot of traffic from that. So having said that, we're going to basically show you some cool little tips and tricks to get you to the top of Google. Chris, why don't you start us off here?
Yeah, one thing I want to mention to everybody is that keep in mind that this stuff really only started in 2004, roughly. Okay, everyone seems to be under the impression that whoever's top ranking, you're giving these people way too much credit. Okay, you tend to, or I don't mean to generalize, but as we tend to see, is that you'll look at whoever's top ranking and you'll think they really know what they're doing. 9 times out of 10, they don't. Okay, particularly in the wedding industry. The agency that we run, we work for about 80, 90 customers, something like that. Big brands, big names, and they pay a lot of money for us to get them top ranked for things like luxury hotel. That's a hard keyword. That's a very hard keyword. Online poker, unbelievably hard keyword. To rank for a local wedding business, easy. It's just not that hard. Okay, the hard part is knowing who to listen to and knowing what to do. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to do here.
All right, so let's talk about this fictional site. We based it on a Las Vegas DJ search term, simply because that's where I kind of got my start. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is a video. It's a site called Homepage right now, and there's probably a lot of people out there that have sites similar to this that, you know, it's up, but you're not necessarily getting a lot of traffic with the website. So what we're going to do over the next 40 minutes is, again, we're going to start giving you some tips. One thing that I would like to say is, if you guys have something to write with right now, take out a piece of paper and put a line right down the center of the piece of paper. On the left side of the page, what I want you to do is I want you to put down takeaways. Just things that you've learned that you might want to do a little bit of research on. Maybe in the next couple days, next couple months. On the right side of the page, what I want you to do is I want you to put down action items. And those are going to be things that you can actually do beginning today, right after this presentation, maybe even on this presentation. Things that you can do that will empower you to basically get you to the top of Google. All right, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, so as Jason said, this is the story of a little site called Homepage, and we're basing it on someone who has a Las Vegas wedding DJ company. Okay, so when you type in Las Vegas wedding DJ into Google, you find that they're buried on page 65. Okay, that's because they're not doing anything that they need to be doing when it comes to how Google perceives their site. One thing you're going to hear us talk a lot about is that there's 2 parts to SEO. One part is way more important than the other part, and the great majority of SEOs out there focus on the little part that's not that important. And that little part that's not that important, but it's still important, you kind of got to do it, but it's not as important as the second part, so I wouldn't get techie here, is what's called on-page factors. Okay, it's the things that when the Google spiders come to your site, it's how they perceive your site. Right? And a lot of SEOs dine out on changing the on-page factors, and then they say, ta-da, well, that's what SEO is. And that's not what SEO is. Right? SEO, the hard part of SEO is what's called off-page factors, and we'll get into all that in just a second. Okay, so this site is it's buried on page 65. Does that sound familiar to anybody? So the first thing you're going to want to do, you have to know what you want to rank for. So many times we look at websites, and at the very top of that website, in what's called the title tag, people have homepage, which is why we're calling this the homepage presentation. And that's, unless you want to rank for homepage, and there's a lot of other companies trying to rank for homepage, I don't know why you would, then there's no point in having that there. So you need to choose your keyword, right? So the question is, where do you go to choose your keyword? How do you find that keyword? You want volume. The best place we know to go, and as professional SEOs, Google has a tool. It's free of charge. If you go to Google right now, or anytime, just type in keyword tool. And this will bring up a tool that was previously, what was it, about 2 years ago? Was not available to the public unless you were spending money on Google AdWords with Google. So it tells you exactly what the search volume is. Yeah?
Now, this is market research that 10, 15 years ago people would pay thousands of dollars for, to know exactly how many people are searching for a given term. Actually, in some cases, in some of our other business ventures, we use this tool to dictate what businesses we're going to start. So for instance, if somebody is, if 200,000 people are searching for gift baskets, well, that tells us that that's a pretty lucrative market and it's something that we might want to get into. But in your cases, if you are a Las Vegas wedding DJ, you'd like to know that Las Vegas wedding DJ gets 1,000 people searching for that every month, where maybe Las Vegas wedding DJs gets 2,000 people. So it kind of shows you where you want to optimize your website. And we'll kind of show you an example of that.
Yeah, and again, keep in mind that we're looking at, we want to know what keywords that this Las Vegas wedding DJ should choose to want to rank for, okay? And what Google is telling us is that Las Vegas wedding DJ gets 390 searches a month, but the plural of that gets 590 rather. 200 more searches per month. 200 times more times per month, brides go onto Google and type that keyword phrase in. So logically, we're going to choose Las Vegas wedding DJs as the keyword that we want to rank for. Okay? Everyone with us?
But the other thing, if you notice here, it's kind of small. You really can't see it if you look closely. But Google actually pre-populates a list of all of the other keywords that people are searching for. So somebody might be typing in just Las Vegas entertainment DJ. You might not know that. Maybe 2,000 people are typing that in. So this basically sets the goals on where you want to get your site to rank for. And we're going to kind of talk about that in just a second.
Okay, so now you know your keyword. The question is, what do you do about it? So Jason, you're going to talk a little bit about, these are called on-page factors. And before you look at that and like fall asleep or get angry with us, here's the thing. You either know how to change the HTML on your site, and you run your own site, and that's great. So you're going to be changing your on-page factors, your title tags, your meta descriptions, and your keywords, and your meta keywords. Or whoever built your site knows how to do this. Or you can go to a place called elance.com, and you can hire somebody for like $100 to change your on-page factors. It's just not that hard. Anyone who works on websites should know how to do this.
And Google has evolved a lot in the past 10 years. 10 years ago, and some of you that have had websites for a long time know this, but 10 years ago there was ways to manipulate the Google search engine, whereas all you do is you put keywords into the keyword meta description field. So you put in Las Vegas wedding DJ, Las Vegas wedding DJ, Las Vegas wedding DJ. And then what you do is you take that and you add it onto your content of your website. So like your content looks like this when somebody visits your site. Welcome to the Las Vegas Wedding DJ website, where we have the best Las Vegas wedding DJs out there. If you were looking for a Las Vegas wedding DJ, and I'm very serious, and if you put your keyword on there 50 times and the person below you had it 49 times, there was a chance that you were actually going to rank higher. Well, Google got smart and said, well, this is really a stupid World Wide Web that we're creating. So they got smart, and then they basically, they've created some different ways to actually optimize your website so that it's not so driven by just keyword, 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 keyword.
Right.
So there's three things that you want to know about related to your on-page factors. The first one, which is the most important thing, is called your title tag. That's something that you want to jot that down. There's three things. We're not going to get techie, but this is as techie as we're going to get. So there's your title tag. Your title tag is not showing up on your actual page. So it's not something that you can visibly see on your page. This is something that lies within the code of the site. Now your title tag can only be 64 characters in length. So when you create your title tag, what you want to do is you want to get your keyword closest to the beginning of the title tag. Because this is what shows up in Google when you do a search for Las Vegas wedding DJ. Let me see if I have it here. So right there, you see where it says Las Vegas wedding DJs? That is the title tag. So it's very important that you put your keyword that you want to rank for within the title tag. Because if you're not, there's some of your competitors that are doing this and they're ranking for that information. The second thing that you want to do is what is called your description. This is called your meta description. And what you want to do is, that's where it says Las Vegas Wedding DJs, your company name available for wedding occasions, unique selling point, and then 1-800 your phone number. So this again is something that doesn't live on your page but is extremely important in getting to the top of Google. This is where you want to put maybe your keyword maybe once within this is 160 characters within length. So you want to put Las Vegas Wedding DJ Company at the beginning, because what you'll notice is when you do a search, the things that become bold, like on the third one there, Night Sound, where it says Las Vegas DJ, Las Vegas Wedding, there's a reason because that is bold, and that's because that's what Google is looking for when they come out and they actually spider your site and the algorithm kicks in.
Yeah, what you might have noticed there is that we were on page 64. And all we did was change a few little words on our on-page factors that you're not going to do. You're going to get someone else to do it who knows how to do it. And all of a sudden you're on page 12. It's that dramatic a jump.
It seriously is.
So the shift from 64 to 12, that's not that hard. But who goes to page 12 of Google, right? No one does. The harder part, obviously, is getting from page 12 to page 1. So let's talk about that now.
Great.
Yours working or is it not working?
All right, so now that we've done the keyword research, we changed our title tag, we changed our meta description. Now what we want to do is, does anybody in the room have a blog? Raise your hand if you have a blog. How many people blog daily? Not that many people. How many people blog monthly? How many people have a blog but have never blogged yet? There's a few, at least they're honest. A blog is extremely important, and there's a couple reasons why you want to have a blog. So if you go to CNN today and you look at their website, well, their site is getting crawled by Google literally like in every 30 or 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds. The reason why it gets crawled so frequently is because they continue to add content to their site daily. Every minute they add new content. So by you playing the same game that CNN does and continue to add content to your website, they're going to take you more seriously. And the other thing about this is you're actually building a bigger website. Google loves bigger websites. So every time that you blog, you want to make sure that you continue to, you want to make sure that you're blogging about what people are actually searching for. So remember, in our keyword research side of the equation, you're actually finding out what people are searching for. So that's going to give you subjects to actually blog about. So if people are typing in how to find a cheap wedding DJ, well, that's a subject that you can blog about. So then when they actually do a search, how do you find a cheap wedding DJ, you can actually post, don't hire me. But no, I'm just giving you an example that how you can actually use the keyword research to actually get subject matters for blogging too. It's that important.
And the blog of choice, or the blog platform of choice for all SEOs and websites that are ranking well, generally speaking, is called WordPress. Can we see a show of hands how many people have a WordPress blog on their site? That's great.
That's awesome.
You guys know what you're doing. But does it live on your site or does it live off of your site? That's significant. Okay. How many people does their blog live off of their site? Okay. And on your site? Okay.
Good.
You guys are winning. On your site. Got to be on your site. Okay.
And just the reason why you want your blog on your site in lieu of actually on the WordPress platform is because when you build content, you're doing nothing but building content and driving traffic to WordPress and not your website. Every time that you add content, I mean, Google is just hungry for one thing, and that's content. So every time that you blog, you're adding content. And within that content, when people do searches, they're going to find your website directly through your blog. So make sure you do have your website on your blog. I mean, have your site, your blog on your website.
And where to do that is go to wordpress.org. Okay? And you can choose a theme there, and then you can install it on your site. Now, if you don't know how to install things on your site, same thing. Whoever does know how to, get them to do it. There's a part in this whole blogging thing that is going to confuse you, and we don't have time today to go into to all of it. The second part, remember I mentioned before, there's two parts of SEO. On-page factors represents 15% of SEO. Off-page factors represents 85% of SEO. The first part of your off-page factors starts with your blog. And what that is that whenever you're blogging, as long as you're using a WordPress platform and have the right plugins, you're creating links for your own site. Right? That's going to mess with your head a little bit. It's your site, you're blogging with it, right? And every time you post a blog, you're building links to your site from your site.
And we're going to get into how valuable links are on the web. We'll talk about that.
The DVD series that we do is 5 hours long. It's 11 chapters, it's fully animated, and we go really, really deep with all of these topics. So we're just really skimming the surface. We're trying to get to the meat of every topic in today's seminar.
Great.
Okay, so now we're blogging. And what's happening? Oh, what just happened there?
Go back. So once you blog, what you're going to notice is that you will move from page 12
there you go.
all the way now to page 6.
Oh, you ruined the scroll thing. I wanted to see the scroll thing. And it happens fast, like one blog. We do a little bit of work with a company who's in the room today, Lost Willows. Where are you, Kathy Ransom? And there you are. We did 2 blogs, and I think we went from page 5 to page 2 and then page 1, like in the course of a week and a half. Blogging is profound. There's other stuff that we do to the site, which is the link building thing, which we're about to get into, but we can see that the majority of that movement happened with the blog posts that we did, and we only did 2 blog posts. Okay. So we've done keyword research the right way. You know what you want to rank for, whether it's florist or wedding planner, whatever it is. You understand search volume. Okay, so the bigger the number, the better, obviously. You're changing your title tags. You're changing your meta descriptions. You're installing a WordPress blog. Now let's get into the real serious stuff.
So links. Let's talk about how valuable links are on the web. Links are essentially the currency on the web. What I mean by that is the more people that you can get to link back to your website, the more powerful your website is going to be and the more traffic that you're going to get to your website. So let's look at it like this. A link, every keyword that you want to rank for. So if we want to rank for Las Vegas wedding DJ, if I want to rank #1 for that term, what I want to do is I want to go out and I want to get 500, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 websites to link back to my website. And on the blue underline link that you see on a link, you want that keyword to be Las Vegas wedding DJ. So every keyword is essentially an election. So go out and get 100, 500, continue to just build links back into your website. And then there's the question, well, how do I do that? And there used to be a day where you can actually send emails out. Hey, would you like to link to me and I'll link back to you? How many people have gotten emails like that before? That doesn't work anymore. That's called reciprocal linking. And that was a way that Google was actually getting manipulated by people just like us. Where they go out, they would go out and say, hey, I'll link to you, you link back to me, and we build a link. Well, guess what? Google just canceled out those links. Those links don't mean nothing anymore. Now what you have to do is you have to get what is called one-way links. So it's kind of hard. You say, hi, what's your name? Christina, will you link to my website? Sure. I'm not going to link to your website, though. That's hard, right? That's very hard. But there's a way to do that without having to reach out to people like Christina, without having to send emails. And we're going to get into that in another second here. And just to prove the theory here of how this works, does anybody know when you type in click here on Google, what site comes up #1? Anybody in the room? Nobody, nobody. I figure so. When you type in click here on Google and you press submit, the site that actually comes up #1 is Adobe Acrobat Reader. And if that doesn't tell you that links are important, do you see how that works? Because every time that you need, every time that you need to open up a PDF and you don't have Adobe Acrobat Reader, what does it say? Click here to get Adobe Acrobat Reader. And that's why it's #1 on Google for the completely, extremely competitive term. So that's just one case study to prove the theory. Because there's a lot of theories that are being told, but we have to debunk the theories with actual research.
Yeah, so if that's the case for Adobe, right, if they rank #1, which they do for click here, it's because almost by default, they're not really intentionally trying to do that. But if it works for them, you better believe it's going to work for you if you're a florist in Denver, or a photographer in Chicago, or a Las Vegas wedding DJ. So, what do we have to do? We have to build links. Okay, so the first...
We're going to give you tips.
Yeah, we're going to give you tips throughout, and then we're going to show our little home page going from page 6 to page 3, and then it gets very exciting to get to page 1. So the first thing is you want to be on the right directories. Okay? Google treats your website like a business. They want to know you're serious about it. They don't want to be wasting their time with someone who's just dabbling. Okay? So one of the ways to show them you're serious is to have a Yahoo listing, to have a DMOZ listing, a BOTW.com listing, and this stands for bestoftheweb.com, and a business.com listing. That's the first part of it. Now, some of these do cost something, but we highly recommend it. They look at those very, very seriously. It's one of the metrics that they take very seriously.
What it is, it's actually building trust. So if you go out and you get you're not going to get a lot of traffic by being listed on the Yahoo directory. Those days are over. You might have done that maybe 10, 15 years ago. But right now it's all trust factor. So if you actually go out and get a link on yahoo.com, I think it's like $299, a one-time fee, Google recognizes that you just invested $300 on your website. So it's a trust factor. And that's one of the things that they actually look at in their algorithm. How many of these trust factors do you have? Are you located on Best of the Web? Are you located in business.com? You know, there's probably about 12 or 15 of these, and we cover all of them in the bridal traffic. But for now, if you have a small budget and you want to get started, I'd recommend these 4 initially.
And I'll also mention that DMOZ is the world's oldest directory and really hard to get into. It's a crapshoot. You might get in, you might not. You can't pay your way in. They used to be owned, I think it was by Americans, and then they got bought by Germans, and they seem to get they got more strict when they went over to Germany for some strange reason. All you Germans out there, that's a shout out. A very odd one. But yeah, just know that there's no guarantee. Whereas the other ones you can buy, right? And there is a guarantee. So just keep that in mind. And the other thing is your industry has got some amazing properties. And something we haven't covered is the way Google puts a weight on each site. It's called PageRank. Okay, you might have seen PR1, PR5, PR2, you don't really know what that is. That's essentially Google saying, this is how much value or how we weigh a site. Okay, now if you have a high PageRank site, it's better than having a low PageRank site. It ranks from 0 to 10. Okay, 10 being the best, 0 being not so good. If you have a 1 PageRank, which most people in this room, I almost guarantee you will have a 1, maybe a 2 PageRank. There's very few sites that have a 3 PageRank. There's very few sites that have a 4 PageRank. So in your industry, groups like The Knot, groups like Perfect Wedding Guide, and groups like Wedding Wire, just to name a few, these guys have got like, I think it's PageRank 6 and 7.
6 plus 7.
Right? So when you're participating on their platforms, and if you're working with them in a manner that is befitting the environment, but if you're allowed to build links and put your site up there, and sometimes you break the rule of making sure it's a keyword link. Sometimes it's just a link to your site, and that's okay. All right? But just don't spend a lot of time building links that don't have the keyword in it. So when you're participating in these directories, if they have a rule that says, well, you can't put the keyword in there, that's not how we work, that's fine. You still get a link, and that's valuable from an SEO perspective.
Yeah, so there's more value in actually just advertising on these sites. You actually get SEO value from it.
Right. Okay, so now we've done directories. And what happens to our...
So there's your site, and now you've got a bunch of links. You got one from yahoo.com, you got one from Best of the Web, one from the Perfect Wedding Guide, one from Wedding Wire, all the big sites.
And as a result of just doing the directory listings, you're moving from page 6 up to page 3. Now it starts to get interesting, right? It didn't take a lot of effort. The on-page stuff was easy. The on-page stuff is set and forget. You never have to touch it again. Link building is ongoing. Okay? All you've done is build like 12 links from the right places, and you're in the upper echelon. You actually know what you're doing, right? You put yourself in the top 1% of this industry by knowing this stuff. But page 3 isn't good enough. We got to build more links.
Keep going. So now this is the second link building tip, and this is a golden nugget. This is one that you can put on the action item side of that page. This is important. How many people have heard of Google Alerts? Good, good. How many people use Google Alerts for the purpose of building links? There's a couple, good. Good, there's my bloggers out there and stuff. So for those of you that don't know what Google Alerts is, Google Alerts is very, very valuable. What happens is you actually set up a Gmail account or a Google account, and then you have access to what is called Google Alerts, and it's free. And then what you'll do is you will actually put in keywords that you want to be alerted on. For instance, you can put your business name. You can put your competitors' names. So that anytime anybody blogs about your company, whether it be good, bad, or even your competitors, well, guess what? In real time, the moment that they actually press submit, whether or not it's a comment on a forum, or if they actually blogged about you or built a squid-do lens about you, you're going to get an email saying, hey, we got a new Google alert with this name or this keyword. So that's very valuable. It's good for your reputation management, and then it's good for building links. Now, how it's good for building links is, if you are a photographer in maybe the Dallas area, and you actually put a Google alert for Dallas wedding, and then you put another Google alert for Dallas wedding photography, maybe another one for just wedding photography. Anytime somebody blogs about that subject, you'll get a notification saying, hey, there's a new topic, a new post about Dallas wedding photography. So you go, you visit the page, you read it, and at the bottom of this blog post, engage in the blog. Leave a comment. By leaving a comment, what you're doing is you are building a link without having to ask the person, like I did in the audience here, for a link. So I just built a link. I just added $1 to my website, the currency. One of the things that you want to do is you kind of a way to manipulate it a little bit. It asks for a couple pieces of information when you leave a comment. Everybody's left a comment on a blog before, right? Okay, so this is just a link building strategy. So when you leave a comment, instead of putting your name, include the keyword that you want to rank for. So Las Vegas Wedding DJ is my name. The website is your URL. And then leave a comment, but leave an authentic comment. Don't just say, hey, nice blog, because chances are that's going to get moderated and it's going to get deleted, and then your time is just, it's just wasted. You want to engage in the blog. You want to talk about the colors that, maybe she used in this photo, or you want to boost their ego a little bit. Say, hey, this is one of the best blogs I've seen in a long time. Just leave comments and continue to do this. If you do this a few times a day, you're going to accumulate links. Once you accumulate links, you're going to rank higher than the person that was on top of you. And eventually you're going to get past them. So that's just one link building tip, which will actually start to add all these extra links pointing back to your website.
And then what happens? You go from page 3 to page 2. Obviously we're generalizing here, but that's basically what we see happen. It depends on how much time you have to put into it. If I spent, an hour a day working on SEO for our clients, now, dependent upon how difficult that market is, that's going to determine how quickly we can move up the rankings. But as we said before, in 99% of the keywords that we've looked at for the wedding industry in America anyhow, I imagine it's the same in other countries, the top ranking sites tend to have like 72 inbound links coming into their site, and you better believe those 72 inbound links don't have the keyword in them. They just don't know to do it. Or if they do, they kind of got lucky, usually. Now sometimes they're really, really savvy. You do have keywords in your market that are really hard, like wedding, way hard, right? What are some other hard ones in the wedding industry?
Wedding favors. Wedding favors is extremely hard.
Very hard. And therefore you have very large groups that are tending to top rank for that because they actually do understand SEO. The directories in your market understand SEO. But let me tell you something. When you come across a keyword and you see something like Wikipedia is in your way, don't worry about it. If you see something like LasVegas.com is in your way, now sometimes they will just be there because they are huge, but generally speaking, Google will prefer to have a vendor outrank the information source. They want you to be there, right? So you just have to know what you're doing. So don't be intimidated by the larger sites. If they do get in your way, keep plugging at it, and you should see that you can usually get past them.
At the end of this presentation, we've got some case studies that will kind of blow your mind a little bit with where we actually outrank certain websites. Yep. Chris kind of mentioned basically looking at your competitors and seeing how many links they have. That is so valuable. If there's tools that you can use, and we didn't have enough time to get into all the tools. In bridal traffic, I think it's chapter 3 or chapter 2.
Tools?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapter 2 of that DVD, you actually will see all of the free tools that are available that you can use to reverse engineer your competitors and see how many links do they have. So if your competitor that ranks #1 has 50 links, well, guess what? All you need really is about 60 links, generally speaking, to outrank them. So we'll get into the tools here. That's actually in the DVD, which we have in the actual exhibit hall. The tools. One of the biggest tools, I'll give you one, is SEObook.com. Write that one down.
Yep.
It's called SEObook.com. And when you go there, download the SEO book toolbar. But it only works for Firefox, which is not Internet Explorer. It's a different browser. You have to get Firefox. So get that tool. That's one of the most important tools. There's probably about 7 or 8 other tools that we use to actually dissect and reverse engineer some of the competitors. I'm sorry? Download the SEO book toolbar. Toolbar is what it's called.
The SEO book toolbar is pretty phenomenal. It lets you see the health of every website that you're looking at. So, if you want to know if you can get in the game, you just look at their numbers on the SEO book toolbar, and it'll tell you the story. It's really pretty amazing. Okay, so we're building links and building links and building links. Video is an amazing way to build links. Now, in most instances, people are getting video completely wrong, and that's your opportunity. Okay, what people think of when they think of video, they think of 2 things. They think of, oh, well, I put a video up on my site, and it didn't work. I didn't get any more traffic, so whatever. I've heard video is important, but I haven't really seen much of an increase in traffic. Or secondly, they got their video and put it up on YouTube. That's a good thing, but unless you optimize your YouTube channel the right way, which is not that hard. It has to do with your keywords and putting them in the right spot. But the bigger thing of all this is that you've got to syndicate that video. Right? You got to get that video in lots of other people's hands, lots of other people's sites, because guess what happens? You get that video and you syndicate it out to 60 websites, right? And the place to do that is a place called Traffic Geyser. Now, some SEOs are not fond of Traffic Geyser. I'm not one of them. I love Traffic Geyser because you can take the one video, you can upload it to one place, and it syndicates it out to, I think it's now 70 platforms. So a few things happen when you syndicate it the right way. Right? Number one is you're getting great content on 50 to 100 video platforms. And guess what you get? Links into your site from often PR 5, 6, 7, 8 websites out there. Again, remember, the stronger the PR of a website, if that website's linking to you, that's great, right? If you get a link from the New York Times, that's gold. One link from the New York Times is worth, what, 10,000 links from PR1 sites.
Yes.
The second thing that happens is you get very valuable backlinks, I mentioned that, and then your videos start to show up on the Google pages, right? So it's not that hard to do. Now, some of you are going to be concerned that you don't like to be in front of a camera, okay? You don't like to talk, or what will you talk about? There's a place called Animoto. A lot of SEOs, a lot of people in internet marketing talk about Animoto, and I've heard it mentioned quite a few times in the wedding industry. It's great. I don't know if you know about it, but it's a place where you can go. You don't have to do anything. You upload your photographs. It puts a music video to your photographs, and it animates the whole thing, and bam, you got a 5-minute video.
We got 5 more minutes.
Right. Cool. So now we're doing all that with video, right?
And then you have a ton more backlinks coming back to your website.
Right.
And the last piece of advice that we want to leave you with, which is another tip, that actually, what we did right there was we moved you to page 1. So now you're on page 1 because of that. The last piece of advice that we're going to leave you with, which is the last tip, and this is what Google is all about. It's the perfect example of Adobe Acrobat Reader, right? You want to build natural links. And how you do that is create compelling content. There's a way that you can actually manipulate the search engines in a way with, you know, some of the things that I was kind of talking about earlier. But this is true natural search engine optimization. Go out, there's so many people here. Grab a flip video camera and ask Sunny Ganguly to do an interview real fast. That's great content. Put that on your website. You'll be amazed with how many people will link back to that. Create videos of industry events. Create helpful lists. The top 50 wedding bloggers, right? And rate each of the wedding bloggers. Give away a free ebook. And then blog daily. So now just to show you some of the results that we've had.
Let it do its thing.
Okay.
Yay! We're number 1.
So now we're number 1. We made it.
Thank you. See how quick that happened? It was like, what, 45 minutes and we're number 1.
Right there? Are you guys enjoying this? Good, good.
You know, we have a saying at our company, and that is that for the wedding industry, we come from pretty hardcore SEO, as I said before. We come to this market in peace. And what we're hoping to achieve is that you never get treated like someone who takes their car into a mechanic and gets dragged over the coals.
Sorry, guys.
Because that's happening in SEO, all right? There are thousands of SEOs out there who kind of know it, and you know, they tell you all this stuff about how confusing it is and how hard it is, and you $10,000 later, and you're not ranking. If you're not on page 1, ranking in position 1 after like 2 months, as long as it's a reasonably non-competitive keyword, or, you know, it might have good volume, fire them. Just don't listen to them anymore, okay? So just follow us on that path, and we'll try not to let you down.
If everybody doesn't have this, again, we have these DVDs. This is 5 hours worth of the information. It's in the actual showroom at the Wedlock booth. It's the pink and black booth. But we're kind of running out of time, so I just want to kind of show you, does this stuff really work? And just to kind of show you case studies that are some are outside of the wedding space and some are in the wedding space, let me just kind of show you some places that we have worked that have gotten pages to the top of Google. So the first one is online poker. Online poker.
Kind of competitive.
59 million web pages competing for that term. UB.com is one of our clients. We got them to number 3 on Google in the matter of 2 months. They were on page 2 when we started working with them. That site, because it moved from page 2 to page 1 in the 3rd position, now makes $250,000 a day. So that's how powerful this stuff is.
Were we supposed to say that? Yeah,
this stuff isn't being videotaped, is it?
We can edit it, right. They make a lot. We should have just said that. They make a lot.
Another client, I actually do, I called a, this is an interesting story. I called the biggest, this is the 13th largest public relations company in the US. And I picked up the phone and randomly called them up and said, hey, I'm an SEO expert. I see that you guys are on page 2 of Google. Would you like me to help you out? And he said, sure, what's it going to cost? I said, well, it's not going to cost nothing. If you actually represent me and do my public relations, I'll do it for free. So we did some barter. Now we do $10,000 a month in barter, right? So he gets me in the New York Post, he gets me in CNN, he gets me all over the place. And now he ranks number 1 on Google for public relations firm, public relations agency, PR firm. And this was only a month, and they were on page 2.
Yep.
So it just shows you how powerful this stuff is.
If we can move, and I mean, as far as how many links we were building per day, it was something like 40 per day. Mm-hmm. We have a team of link builders of like 100 people who build links on our behalf. So it's not like we sit there doing it. But for PR agency and public relations agency to rank number 1 within 1 month with only 40 key links being built per day, I mean, if they can do it, you guys can do it.
And this was one that's really interesting. So Florida traffic violation. Our client is fightyourticket.com. When we started working with, they weren't even within the first 10 pages of Google for this term. But we actually got them to the point where we were right below the county where you actually pay the traffic ticket. Right below it, and they're like, that's great, that you've got us as far as we're going to get, you know? I'm like, we're not going to stop there. We're going to get above the county website. And then sure enough, another couple weeks go by, and now they're actually ranking higher than the county where you actually pay the traffic ticket. This just shows you how powerful this stuff is.
They invited us to their bachelor party, didn't they?
We did, here, 2 weeks ago.
That was fun.
DWI lawyer, we're #1 across the nation for that term. He's a New York lawyer that wanted to be on a national term because DWI is the acronym that they use in only 5 states. In all of the other states, it's called DUI.
Yeah, this is a weird one, and I don't want you to get too confused with it because that's a national term. Usually we would recommend against that for any of our local clients, of which most of you are local people, right? So don't get too focused on a national term.
And that is it. That is our presentation. And we also rank on the first page of Google for wedding, too. There's a site that I actually was building. So, and it's at #9 for wedding. So that's it.
Let's have a big hand.
Thank you, guys.
And if you guys want to talk to him, we do have a table for you in the bridge there. And you can go out there and talk to him. And take a short break, and we're going to be back here for our 5 o'clock.